Hey! Always nice to have a friendly face in the audience. Lots of friendly faces. How's everyone doing? Thanks so much for everyone looks very serious. I hope you're having a good conference. I literally just saw Snoop Dogg. It was either Snoop Dogg on the street or someone that looks a lot like an impersonator that hired an entourage, which if you live in New York, you know those things are equally as likely to happen. So can I see how many folks here are software developers, software engineers, code for a living? Okay, lots of hands. I want to say it's like 40% of the audience. Helpful, thank you. So I'm here to talk a little bit about how traditional software developers have been responding to the world of crypto, Web3, NFTs. I'm going to use those words interchangeably, so kind of know that I'm talking about the whole community and industry. So I've been a software developer for 22 years, and in that time, I've seen all the new technologies come and go. I've seen the beginning of debugging in the browser. You didn't used to be able to debug JavaScript, jQuery. I was here when Node.js came out and people started using it, when React was new. I've never seen an industry react to a new technology the way that it's reacted to crypto and NFTs, that whole world in general. A lot of big names have come out against it. Tim O'Reilly, who's the guy that makes the books with the animals on the cover, he said web technologies, including crypto and NFTs, are a pretty speculative bubble. There's a lot of quotes from software engineers out there, if you take a look. A man named Sitak Dole, who's a security engineer and cryptographer, calls Web3 fake decentralization. There's a guy named Nicholas Weaver, who's a computer scientist and a lecturer out of UC Berkeley. He says that Web3 is a big con job. On the Stack Overflow developer survey, so they run a developer survey every year, 38% of developers think that crypto is all hype. Meanwhile, only 23% of developers have ever coded on the platform at all. Personally, I've had a very distinct experience. I've had friends reach out to other friends and be like, I saw Sarah tweeting about crypto. Is she okay? Is she getting scammed? Like, should I talk to her? My partner used to work at one of the big crypto exchanges, and when he would see friends out of work looking for jobs, he'd be like, hey, I work at this place. Are you interested? And they would literally say, go fuck yourself. Not interested at all. Very upsetting. And it's such a like a viral reaction. People react so strongly. I've lost hundreds of Twitter followers. I'm like not even one of those people that tweet about this stuff all the time. I'll see something cool and tweet about it. Immediately, I'll lose a whole mess of followers. People do not want to hear about it. So personally, I found it really polarizing, and I've been really interested and curious as to why. Like, why are people so angry about crypto, and what can we do to kind of help them better understand things? So I've talked to a lot of people that have reacted that way, and this is what I've heard from them. So this is not what people say, but this is what I've observed. These concepts are difficult to understand. This isn't a new language or a new framework where you're taking your existing knowledge of languages and your day-to-day job and adding some new concepts. This is a fundamental shift in the things that people do. And when you're throwing out words like on-chain and proof of stake and 2x leverage and that kind of thing, and people don't understand what that means, it makes them frustrated and angry. They don't want to say, can you explain that to me? They'd much rather be like, I hate that shit, it's a scam, don't even talk to me about it. It's a lot easier. And so people not understanding, I think, is a big thing, not wanting to put the work in and understand, and just being angry at the industry in general. It's a lot easier to hate something than to learn about it. I promise it takes a lot less time. And so that's something I've observed. And so also, though, if you think about that, and then they're having these conversations, and their mother's cousin's best friend made $5 million for doing this random currency and then selling it, they're like pissed, right? Because now it's money, and finances are very important to people. Money is a huge sensitive topic. So not only do all these people know these things that they don't understand, but they're making so much money doing it. And that's really frustrating and upsetting. And I'm not saying that everyone that dislikes crypto doesn't understand it, because there are some very legitimate reasons why they are skeptical too. They've seen all the scams. They know about Mt. Gox and pump and dumps, and they've seen people get scammed out of their NFTs on Twitter, and they've seen all the news stories about people's grandmothers' retirement being wiped out because they bought Bitcoin. So add that on top of non-understanding, and it makes them really frustrated. It doesn't even matter if there's more or less scam. I think in traditional finance than in crypto, the fact that it exists and people are getting scammed, people get really upset. So one thing I've done while hearing this feedback, hearing people angry, is work on a framework that's worked really well for me when I'm trying to communicate this stuff to my friends and making it more accessible to them. So the first thing I do is I listen to their concerns. It's a big one. It could be really annoying. Some of them are very ignorant, but there are also some really good concerns. For example, this is something I hear less often, but when people are thinking about the environment, that's an important thing, and that's something that we're all working on, we're all thinking about, and showing that it's important to the industry. The industry cares about its impact and is making changes based on that, super important. Crypto is very similar to things like CrossFit and being polyamorous, where it's like really happy for you that that's your life and your lifestyle, but don't need to hear about it every 10 minutes. So I try not to push it on people and do hard sells. Like, if people are interested in talking to me about it, great, I will talk to you about it. If not, like, you're going to see it on my Twitter feed or whatever, and you can ask if you're interested. And lastly, I found it really effective to share the things that I love. So for example, one of my favorite projects, you may have heard of it, may not have heard of it, is Crypto Coven. I love it so much because it's a bunch of really smart women that got together and built a community that's amazing for both folks that are beginners and advanced. That's something you don't see in open source. Like, name one big open source library run by women. You can't. I've tried. But there are so many amazing NFT projects that are being run by women and great welcoming communities. I love telling people about that and asking them to check them out and get started in a community like that. I love DAOs. I tell people about that. I'm in a DAO called RCS DAO. We invest in blue chip NFTs. One thing about this community that's so different than software community is, I don't know if you've seen, when I first got started in software, people were like, read the fucking manual all the time. Like, if you ask a dumb question, people are like, go kill yourself. But I think in the crypto community, like, if you go in a Discord and you ask a stupid question, someone's gonna answer you, which is wild. And so communicating that world to people in the software industry that may not understand is really helpful. And lastly, I'm excited about all the stuff that other people are excited about, like decentralization, thinking about actually understanding voting tallies and being able to verify them. Some of the things that folks are talking about, like diplomas, understanding where people buy their houses, getting deeds online, that stuff is really effective too. So I think the most important thing the most impactful thing I've seen work when onboarding software developers to the world of crypto is just tell them what you're excited about, and they will learn from your passion. Thanks, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your conference.